Help me, please.
What's the problem?
Help me.
Yeah, what's the
Let
problem?
me go tonight.
Okay, all right, we'll get someone around
Please,
you.
help me. Please, help me.
So my first message for you is that domestic violence happens to everyone. All races, all religions, all income and education levels. It's everywhere. And my second message is that everyone thinks domestic violence happens to women, that it's a women's issue. Not exactly. Over 85% of abusers are men. And domestic abuse happens only in intimate, interdependent, long-term relationships. In other words, in families. The last place we would want or expect to find violence.
Often, abusers will try and prevent victims from getting to work, causing them to be late or to have to miss work. Abusers also may excessively call, email, or text victims while they're at work, come into the workplace, or stalk the victim. Over 80% of domestic violence victims report that their work performance was negatively affected. Absenteeism and poor work performance can leave victims vulnerable to discipline, and some even lose their jobs. Coworkers and others in the workplace can also experience the adverse effects of domestic violence through increased workloads, stress, calls, or visits from their coworker's abuser, and other potential safety risks. Even though the workplace can be a dangerous place for victims, as abusers know where to find them, work can also be a haven for someone who is experiencing violence at home. The financial security of a job and some time away from their abuser can help a person experiencing violence seek support or make a plan to leave the relationship. Some jurisdictions expressly include domestic violence within occupational health and safety legislation, while others do not. In Ontario, the Occupational Health and Safety Act consists of a provision for domestic violence in Section 32.0.4. Health and safety guidelines titled Workplace Violence and Harassment, Understanding the Law have been developed by the Ministry of Labor. All employers have a legal responsibility under the Occupational Health and Safety Act to take every precaution reasonable in the circumstances to protect workers from hazards, including violence in the workplace. As of June 15, 2010, employers must also specifically take precautions to protect workers from domestic violence that may occur in the workplace and is likely to expose a worker to physical injury, where the employer is aware or should reasonably be aware. As a leading practice, an employer can develop and implement a prevention program to help protect workers from domestic violence in the workplace. Even though most employers have a program in place for raising the awareness of domestic violence at the workplace and providing information about services available, most victims are in fear to talk about their abuse with colleagues and going to the services available due to excessively stalking. There is a two-step solution for reducing domestic violence at the workplace and extenuate services for the victims. Since the workplace can serve as a haven for victims as a temporary escape, the legislation should require employers to hire a specialized counselor when developing a prevention program. A domestic violence counselor at the workplace will reduce the barriers victims face for seeking help, such as stalking and threatening. With the presence of a counselor, the employee can be informed about the effective steps they need to take towards leaving the abusive relationship. Victims no longer have to worry about being stalked and get caught when seeking help. As counselors are professionals in the area of domestic abuse, the victims will feel safer and more comfortable talking about their experiences compared to colleagues or managers. Domestic violence is a complex issue that cannot be solved solely through counseling. The newly established outreach program, I Hope, is a domestic violence intervention that can help bring experts into the workplace to guide victims to escape their abusive relationship step by step. The outreach clinic provides many services, from legal services to workshops. However, instead of providing services through a physical location, an online forum, or over the phone, the clinic offers services by going to companies on an appointment basis. This intervention allows victims of domestic violence to access professional help at the workplace within their discretion.